Yo, what's going on, folks? Sorry about the late watch list, but we had three webinars going on today. One from 4 to 5, 5 to 6, and then 8 to 10. And so we packed schedule. I was trying to get the watch list in while managing all this stuff. So a down day in the markets. You can see, we were kind of hanging steady, and then the Fed minutes came out. And it looks like it probably wasn't received well. I don't tend to read these things, but you can see here, right? We were kind of just consolidating around all day, and then it was flush, bounced back into resistance, flush, bounced back into resistance. So where does that leave us? Well, we had a pretty nasty down day. It could have been worse. We made a little bit of a comeback at the end, and I think that masked, some of the original panic. But we're going to need to see what happens tomorrow. Today was really inconclusive because we did make a little bit of comeback at the end, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's a rollover. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a fake out or anything. One day doesn't make a trend. One day really can't even help us, identify clues unless you really dig deep into the breadth numbers. But for the most part, we've got some levels of support. You can see here, right? This was where we closed was our previous level of breakout, right? And so we've got some levels of support under. We'll see how the market acts tomorrow. If we start getting some shady business, we start acting weak. That'll tell me, hey, let's get defensive for a while, because no longer is it that we're just riding so far up the 50-day moving average. We've got all this support under. We're getting close, all right? And so we flush back under. Where do we fall to? Maybe down to 1750. We've got a long ways. Potentially that could go. Now, will that happen? No, right? We just had one down day where we're down 0.61%. It's not the end all of the world, but it's something that we got to keep track of. Let's take a look at the watch list. So, FSLR had a huge breakout today. I had this sucker at like 64 bucks, and I freaking sold it flat like such a bozo. I thought I chased it a little bit, and so I was really tight with my trigger, and we were getting a multi-time frame breakout. And the instant I sold it, it ran like $5. So go figure. I've been licking my wounds ever since then. This is going to be in play for the next so many weeks. It doesn't mean necessarily we have a play tomorrow, but watch out, right? If it just washes out totally tomorrow, you might get some type of rebound. If it just is flat and we have kind of an inside day, but we stay near highs, we'll start to build a range at the top. And if we take it out, in the next day or two, that could be a play. But you want to keep it on your list, and then use, our assortment of tools and our toolbox of intraday setups or short-term setups to really time the entry. Craig, right? This 450 push is going to be just a monster. Hopefully it doesn't gap up, and we can build into it. But this is a key level breakout that really hasn't been worked on in a while. I like the look of this. ASTM, I looked at this one today. The volume's a little bit low, but these stocks, the volume comes out of nowhere sometimes. You can tell here, right? It's a base breakout. Tap. $4 push. I really like that. ISR, obviously 148%. It closed a little bit weak, dump about 50 cents at the close, but we'll see, right? If you get a gap up and a run to 3, which is about the top today, who knows, right? You might get a fade there. If it opens up weak, it's going to be tough to short because it could go green to red really quickly. Ideally we want to see some type of early morning strength. Groupon, if the market rolls over, this could be this is a bear flag right here, essentially on the daily chart. So that could be a short if it cracks under here. Netflix, this could be a long, where essentially this has been a really kind of low volume, steady pullback here. Maybe it's got a little bit more, another day or two of downside, but it's been fairly orderly. And when you get an orderly pullback, that to me tells me that, we've got, not a panic or a dump, but this is just some profit taking. CYNI, still another base breakout here. We got a flag going over there. CSIQ, if these solar start dumping today, if you can see here, right, we had a pretty big dump on a high volume and a really kind of a light bounce on really low volume to work off that oversold condition. If these solar stocks roll over, this is essentially, right, like a breakdown pullback play. ANR, after this key level of flat bottom breakdown, we've got a bear flag right here. That could be a potential short. SWHC, after its earnings day, we're just really nice flag here for the last couple of weeks. We come out of this, we'll see a 15 touch pretty quick. ANIC, just after the big push over here, we're consolidating between 40 and 45. I'm watching it build. It might need some more time, but, it looks like kind of that 45 is going to be a key level. Zillow, we've been talking about this one since it's been $80 for a swing trade. It's getting to that $100 target. Any type of pullbacks in this towards the 90 zone. See how you got all that support here? I think that gets bought. It would be very hard for it to just hit 100 and break out and have a big breakout. But if it can pull back to 90 and back and fill, right, use your imagination a little, and then take out 100, it's going to have a lot more power in it to really get moving. And then RPTP, this is another one that had this monster flush, and we're starting to kind of bear flag around. If this market flushes, it should be an easy short. YY, so this one can be played two ways. It's having trouble bouncing, but it's on key supports. If the market just flies and it can come out of this zone, we'll see it run back to 90. But the other thing is, it's really testing this level a lot. If this market flushes, this will be a pretty easy short. You'll get at least a multi-dollar rip really quickly in a matter of maybe 30 minutes. And, over time, it'll come back even lower. And if not, you've got a potential long as you've got, a flag breakout over there. Yelp is the same exact way. Same exact way, right? This stock has just been kind of testing along. If the market runs, maybe it'll get picked up. But if not, this is going to be, right, you just keep testing this 50-day moving average. It's not going to hold forever. We saw that with SCTY today. Right, you keep testing and testing, and you're riding this thing, and you can't jump. When you break under, you get these big flushes. You can see right at SCTY towards the end of the day. I bungled up this trade a little bit, but the area that we've been watching pretty much all day, and for even longer than that, is right this 73 zone. But you can see how quickly they fall. Right, this is just a couple candles. And, you can get these flushes. But one of the things is for SCTY, we'll watch this thing tomorrow also. If this thing opens up, opens up green and then turns red or something like that, we'll get a green to red move. If it just can't even get above 73 and it's fading back, it's just hanging there. And then we start to see a crack. You might see this thing back at $70, $69, $68 really, really quickly. So that's it for now, guys. We had a decent day in the chat room. We had some good plays in HCNP, but I bungled quite a few plays too. I had the right idea in this SCTY short, and I covered for like a 20-cent loss when I really was. And literally in minutes later, it dumped $2-3, and we had it nailed. I was too chicken to get back in after I took a small loss, and that's one of the things you got to do as a trader is always get back in if you make a mistake and you had the right idea. But I'm going to go out and kill it tomorrow. We still had a decent day, made some money, and we're ready to roll for tomorrow. Take care.